I'm not necessarily afraid of traveling as a black person because I'm clearly black and blackety black, not even racially ambiguous. You can't really identify me as anything other than black. The Italians here have been kind to me. Also, why I respect Italians, they mind their business. All right, so I made it to Naples. It was a journey. It wasn't that far from Rome, but because I waited till the last minute to buy my ticket, I literally spent $50 for an hour and 15 train ride. So learn from my lesson and buy your tickets at least a week in advance if you don't want the upcharge. I just want to talk about going abroad and, traveling abroad and being worried about racism. Okay. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the hatred of black people is widespread. White supremacy, colonialism has pretty much taken over every surface of the world. So there's really no quote unquote safe place I can travel to. All of these systems are in place and it's been happening for centuries now. I don't expect you to, welcome me into the family and introduce me to Nona, but at the same time, treat me like I'm a human being. So far in all my travels, the only place that I have not experienced that where people are treating me less than a human being is China. Not really surprised, but like I'm talking about blatant, which I respect. At least I know how you feel, so I don't like the passive aggressive. I don't like that. I'm talking about they will give you dirty stares, they will spit on your shoe, they will treat you like a circus animal, like it's the whole nine. Now, back to here, Italy. People told me, why are you coming here? Italians aren't the most welcome to black people. My experience in Italy for the last 2 weeks, I have 1 week left, has been relatively positive. The only kind of discrimination or looks I have received, kind of like energy, has been from other Europeans. I don't know all the countries. The Italians here have been kind to me. Also, why I respect Italians, they mind their business. They will help. It gave me New York because while I was coming here, Naples really doesn't have a lot of working escalators or elevators at the train station. And I have a whole luggage. Okay? A whole luggage. People saw that I needed help and in Italian, I understood what they were saying because I understand like Spanish a little bit. And they were like, do you need a hand? But like in Italian, I don't know how to say it. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, please, thank you. And they just lifted up my luggage for me. When I was getting on the escalator, the other people saw me and they were like, oh, go in front, go in front. I don't know if they recognized I was a tourist. I don't know. Sometimes they'll maybe treat tourists that look like me versus actual people here that look like me differently. I'm not quite sure. I do not know the politics of Italy. I can just speak on my experience. And my experience for Italians, they either mind in their business or they're very helpful. But they go back to minding their business. Like they helped me with my luggage. I said, thank you. He's like, oh, are you visiting? Do you live here? I was like, oh, I'm visiting. Oh, okay, enjoy. And then he just went about his day. I have not received much looks, passive aggressiveness from Italians. Also what I do, I smile at people. I'm not going to come to another country and keep my rest and be face on. Every time someone looks at me, I smile. Now, if they do this, okay, what's going on? I haven't experienced the ism here. Still have a week left. I will keep you updated, but I haven't experienced the ism here. I'm not necessarily afraid of traveling as a black person because, first of all, I classify any mentality that feels like I am beneath you due to the color of my skin as a mental illness. And we need to start opening up psychiatric wards for those mental illnesses. That's number one. Number two, there's nothing I can do to prevent people from looking at me or treating me some type of way. There's literally nothing I can do. I can honestly say, like, the people here have been genuinely kind, and I haven't experienced, any of that stuff. I don't know. By the grace of God, because I'm clearly black, and blackity black, not even racially ambiguous. You can't really identify me as anything other than black. Now that I'm out of hostels, I can give you my hostel experience as a black person. First of all, I didn't see any black people there. And I understand why. Because hostels, I wouldn't say hostels are for young people, because there were people of all ages there. I would say hostels are for people that genuinely need to save $1. Because when you need to save $1 and a hostel is your only option, you will put up with honestly anything, because you understand, like, this is part of the hostel experience and you don't have no money to go nowhere else. Those two things did not apply to me. Now, granted, I don't have the money, but baby, for my comfortability, I will find the money. Because the roommates, aside from the last 2 roommates that I had in Rome, you know what? I'll say it like this. There was a clear roommate that I had. Story time. I walk in there, right? And she's in there. And I immediately walk in and I'm like, hey, how are you? And she's just like, is this your room? No, I just used my key to get in. I'm like, yeah, this is my room. This girl asked again, are you sure that this is your room? I don't think this is your room. Girl. Not today. You ain't gonna be. I'm like, I heard she had an accent and she was saying things with an accent. I was like, oh, are you from Spain? She was like, no, I'm from Argentina. Oh, your soul sister. Your soul sister. Now, I've heard things about Argentina and I've heard things about Spain. Not putting generalizations. I have not been to neither, but I've heard some things. And some things in how they treat people that look like me. And honey, how do I walk in the room and say hello and you immediately start acting like a Karen, wondering why this black person is coming into your room like you're in danger? Mind you, my stuff was already laid out on my bed in the room. I'm clearly weird energy, passive aggressiveness with her. Then I started speaking a little Spanish. She was like, oh my gosh, you speak Spanish? I'm like, no, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna treat me like that and think just because I speak more than hola, como estas, we gonna be no. That was one. The other roommate, for some reason, wants to do her entire beauty routine at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Both nights. And mind you, it's a small room. It's a small room. And my bed is right next to the bathroom. And you're just in there washing your clothes in the sink when there's a whole self-service laundry room downstairs. Again, people trying to save $1. And then you're brushing your teeth for over 30 minutes. And then you're showering for over 40 minutes. And then you got to blow dry your hair for 30 minutes. And then I wake up and you're trying to be nice. And I'm just like, I didn't get any sleep. She was like, why not? I'm like, because you wanted to play insomnia. What I've noticed in my hostel experience is that people they don't really want to stay in hostels, but because they can't afford anything else, that's why they're there. But to play almost petty, they still want to treat their hostel as their own private room. And I just don't understand that, because you're not home and you don't have a private room. You're sharing a room with other people. So if you know that there's 3 of us in the room and there's only one bench and one closet, why would you take the whole bench and closet for yourself? It's times like this where it's like, I realize people were not raised. You weren't raised. And if you were raised, you weren't raised right. Because what? I don't know if I could ever do that again, because the way people were hyping it up, I think that the way people were hyping it up were a hype up for people that do not look like me. Now I see why there was no one that looked like me there. I don't know if I will experience, I just, because it's not like any of the hostels I were at was like a party hostel. Like everyone was, out, like loud. It was just the people. The people made it terrible. Then, the people that I'm rooming in with make or break the hostel experience. And maybe I just didn't do it right. Please comment below to help me understand. Maybe because to be in 3 hostels and they all be... The hostel experience is a no for me. Know if you're too young to remember, but it's definitely giving like pre-gentrified Jamaica Avenue back when there were actually shops. Oh, is this books? I love books. And they're all in Italian. I can't read Italian. Oh, there are black people here. Okay, great. It's a full-time job, I tell you.